Howdy, I'm Kanaju, and today we're going to take a tour of 3 different settlements that were added in No Man's Sky Frontiers. So, not only are we going to be exploring a Gek, Vy'keen, and Korvax settlement, we're also going to be exploring like 3 different sizes of settlements. Now, just briefly, I want to specify that this is like a single take, so if I make some mistakes, please excuse me, as I won't be really editing anything out. But alright, let's head right into it. So this first settlement you're taking a look at is a Vy'keen settlement, called the Oasis of Nal. This is a desert oasis on the planet Sandu. And the trees are something I added myself, but otherwise everything within the settlement, within it, not without it, is procedurally generated. So one interesting thing about this is that it actually has 3 water towers, which I would consider it a small to medium-sized settlement. That's actually pretty impressive. Alright, so as we're walking here, you can kind of see this big gap between like the landing pad and like the grass. So this morning I downloaded update 3.68 for the game, and it kind of moved all my buildings. So if you see a tree really close to a building or something, kind of like that, that's because the buildings moved this morning. Another side effect, this is my overseer's office. Always invite my citizens to come and speak to me. Another quirk of this update is that because it moved the buildings but not the patches of grass or the clearings that I was showing you. So that's the governor's palace on the left, lighthouse in the center, and the cliff house right there. And because this is situated in a crater, I also had a lot of space for advertising. So I added those billboards up there. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. So, because a lot of these buildings have moved slightly from where the grass is cleared, you're going to see throughout this video a lot of grass on the inside of buildings, which is kind of annoying, but it could be another couple of weeks until the next patch that fixes it. And I was really excited to make this video. I'd been planning it for a while, so we're just going to have to do it. So, past these landing pads on the outskirts of town, we come to the market. And markets are pretty much the same layout for each style of architecture, but I personally think they work best with the Vy'keen. The archways look beautiful, the stone is a wonderful material, and it feels really rustic. I think it just works best with the Vy'keen. So here we are past the water tower heading towards town square. And I believe we are going to take a look at this little industrial building right here. Fairly well lit space, excuse the grass in there. Looks like this one's mainly used for storing produced goods. Let's head back out. Little small generator building. This particular settlement had like 6 or 7 of them as my building opportunities, which I feel like wasted a lot of my potential for this settlement. And one of them got disappeared by the patch today too, so that's kind of fun. But here in the center of town is a Vy'keen monument, and it appears to be hand-carved. If you take a look like near the top, you'll see the image of the Atlas carved into a pattern, which I think is like a wonderful detail. So, this is the common house, which is the largest building in this little settlement. If we head inside, we see more grass. But it's a very cozy place, and I often see people here during the day. It's one of my favorite buildings, personally. And then across the street, we have the large storehouse, which is the second largest building in the settlement. Alright, let's take a look inside. And again, excuse the grass. But as you can see, it's just used for storage of goods and things of that sort. So, this is the cantina known as the Cavern Club. Why is it called the Cavern Club? Well, you'll see in a moment. So as you can see, All visitors are welcome. Any race, any species. Absolutely love the look of. I think cantinas are probably my favorite building type. With the new settlements, I especially love these little alcoves. The little, the arches especially work well. It just makes me think of like a mall-sized canteen. And if you look out here, right next to the corner bar, you can see this was actually built halfway inside of a cavern, which is where it gets its name. Little dance party going on here. Yeah, it looks like fun. Alright. Man, yeah, I absolutely love this building. Probably my favorite part of the entire settlement. And here's an extra view of the settlement at night. Just gorgeous. So, a small detail you may have missed are these little sentinels, or what appear to be sentinels, carved into the side of some of their buildings. But anyway, sorry, this goes so quickly. So that was the Oasis of Null. As you saw, Vy'keen settlements are based on stone, and there's no glass whatsoever throughout the entire settlement. It's all open air windows and really solid structures. And that is in contrast to our next settlement, which is Little Leywood, a Gek settlement. And the Gek use primarily wood in their construction, and they love glass and they love windows. Gek architecture, I think its most stunning characteristic are its use of skylights and floor-to-ceiling windows. So you're going to see a lot of natural light as we explore this town. So, Little Leywood, funny enough, is actually the biggest settlement I own. Here we're passing a market, which same layout as the Vy'keen one, but I don't necessarily think markets look as nice with Gek architecture. I miss those beautiful arches. However, the vendors are always friendly. Yeah, good to see it. Alright, so the first building we're going to come up on is actually what I call the Market Bistro. Because originally this whole area, I called it the Market District, but as of this morning, some of the markets got moved out of here. There used to be 4 markets centered all around here, but they've since been rearranged. So, I don't know if it's still the Market District, but let's take a look inside. Beautiful glass doors, gorgeous skylights. Love that music. And I love that plant in the middle there. Not the grass, but again, their use of natural lighting, beautiful window in that little alcove, floor to ceiling, corner bar. It's really nice, really inviting. There's something really warm about wood as a material too. It just works really well, the combination of skylights and the rim lighting they have near the ceiling. So let's see where I'm heading next. Past another market. Oh, here's an industrial building. And in characteristic style, it is also, interesting. So, this is a Gek settlement, but we have 2 Korvax working here. Probably shouldn't read too much into that. For those of you who know about the lore, there was a time when the Gek had enslaved the Korvax, but that's ancient history by now. So let's check out another industrial. More Korvax working here, despite it being interesting. Well, this is a really cool area of procedural generation because it creates this really tight alleyway, which I don't have in any of my other settlements, and it's pretty unique. So if we head into Town Square, we can see the unfinished Gek monument, or I assume it's unfinished, perhaps it's a stylistic choice. Hard to say, I don't actually speak Gek. So, this is one of the large buildings around Town Square, and this gives you a really good idea of how warm and inviting Gek lounges are. As far as lounges are concerned, I'd say the Gek win this competition hands down between the 3 architectural styles. Please excuse the grass. Just, you have a lot of like small windows like you see on that wall there. You have big windows such as this. And then you also have wonderful skylights. I mean, just look at that. And then the light playing on the wood and with the carpets. I love it. It's my favorite. So, now we can see where the space was left from a building that was previously here. And this marked the beginning of what I called Main Street. And it's still Main Street, but you know, it would have been better with that building. So we have an industrial building, a market, and a big house, right? But then you continue down Main Street, you have another industrial building on the left, and on the right we have a large storehouse, which makes sense. I mean, the Gek are traders, right? They love hoarding wealth, and they love keeping inventory. If we head up here, though, I want to show you, I absolutely love these, like, this long row of big windows. I don't know, it just gives me, like, a big city feel. I really like it. But anyways, let's continue down Main Street. Again, another residential building, but across the street we have another large storehouse, because the Gek love to trade. And in here, we have a building that isn't filled with grass. So this is how all of these settlements look normally. It's just as of this morning, they're all filled with grass for some reason. So hopefully that'll be fixed in the next patch. I'm sure it will. Take a look inside this residential building. Besides the grass, it's quite lovely in here. Again, look at that, picture perfect. You just can't beat that ambiance, that atmosphere. It's gorgeous. And I love that stuff. Real cozy. Alright. So, if we head back down and continue down Main Street, we have another market, another long storehouse, and then the street ends with what I call the Main Street bar. This settlement is so big it actually has, 2 bars. So this second cantina is, I think, the most impressive of the bunch. Look at this. It's got a huge bar, right? Another corner bar, and then floor-to-ceiling windows just across this entire wall. It's incredible. I love it. It works really great at night when the grass is like bioluminescent. It just looks beautiful. And then of course it still has its little alcoves on either side. So you have your private booths, you have your big dance floor, large bar that can handle a lot of patrons. It's a wonderful layout, and it really shows how impressive the procedural generation can be. So, before I leave, here's a look at my overseer's office. Pretty much the same layout as anywhere else, but in a Gek style. So, of the 3 overseer's offices, this is the best lit. It looks like a jungle in here. And this used to be my favorite window before the teleporter was placed there in a patch recently. But, I still love this office, although I wish I had a weed whacker right now. But anyway, that's little Laywood. So Gek architecture, open, warm, well lit, lots of glass, lots of skylights. And Little Laywood is a pretty big town. Really shows you how big they can get. So, this last settlement we're going to take a look at is a Korvax settlement called Korvax Pool. And as you can see, it's another desert planet. Sorry, I love desert planets. But their main material is steel or some kind of metal alloy. And they have this real goofy looking cyberpunk aesthetic, which I actually enjoy to an extent. I think the buildings look really great from the outside. It's just stepping inside that I don't enjoy so much, but we'll get into that in just a moment. Yeah, see, they look really good from the outside. Very impressive. So, I guess we'll start again with the Korvax market, which again, it's okay, but not as nice as the Vy'keen, because it just looks like it's all like cyberpunk and modern, but then it's like an open air market from ancient time. So I really love actually how blocky Korvax buildings look. I love the metallic shapes that they come with. Oh, and here's town square, which is actually, instead of a monument, fittingly it's a server. At least it appears to be, which might be how they connect to the convergence. Ooh, I call this the service station. It just reminds me of those old Art Deco gas stations, you see off Route 66. I just love the detail. So here's a large storehouse. Oh, I wonder what that guy's up to. Oh yeah, it's lawless out here on the edge of space. Alright, so here on the outskirts of town, we have another beautiful building. And I just love these rows of flags up front. Let's take a look inside. So this is a storehouse, and you can really see, so I just walk right through the use of metal. But let's take a look at something that's unique to this settlement. These cyclotronic blades, I believe they're called. Now, of all my 3 settlements, and one that I've seen with my friend and a couple others, this is the only one I've seen that has this type of equipment. And I don't know if it's particular to Korvax or just RNG that my Korvax settlement has it. I think it's really cool that, procedural generation can lead to such different results for different settlements. So we're heading for, where are we? I see. So let's take a look in here. And hopefully I can talk a little bit more about the interior. Oh, this one's surprisingly well lit. Although I probably wouldn't have put a table right in front of that door if I had the chance to decorate it myself. So this right here is actually, I think, possibly the most interesting building here. So it's a single-story building, and the entire rooftop is flat. And it has 4 staircases, one on each side. So it doesn't have any roof details. It's almost like an elevated plaza. I like to imagine that they use it for gatherings and celebrations. And then underneath it, on the first floor, you have a place to store drinks and things like that. I just think it's such an interesting building. And right next to it, we have, a lounge. And with an interior staircase. Now, mind you, I love interior staircases, but my Vy'keen Settlement doesn't have any, sadly. Now, one thing about interiors is that I feel like Korvax interiors are quite cold. Even with like this really warm color palette, it just doesn't feel as inviting as the other two. Ooh, I do love this patio though, this like 2-layered patio. But with that storm coming, I'm gonna have to probably find shelter soon. Let me just take a look. Oh yeah, I appreciate that they use glass too. Alright, so with the storm past, let's take a look at my Korvax overseer's office. Same overall layout, a little bit taller looking perhaps. Geez, oh my gosh. I don't know why these are like the hardest hit with the grass. We're gonna take a look here. And this is what I mean by like the architecture is kind of cold. Like, look at how dark it is in here. Even when they do use windows, the Korvax have like very small windows, so you don't get a lot of natural light. You feel very like cut off and a little claustrophobic, which is why I prefer the other two architectural style. Even though these look really nice on the outside. All this grass. Although I do appreciate these little windows, but again, they don't really bring any light into the space. I like to imagine that the Korvax just have like better optical circuits, so they don't need as much light. They can just scan their environments. But that's all conjecture. So here we have the local cantina, which I don't have any special name for this one. It's just the And being a Korvax settlement, naturally they use half the galaxy's supply of lighted signs. But yeah, real funky looking thing. Funky, if I'm being perfectly honest. Let's take a look inside. So, pretty dark again, but I think it makes sense in a club atmosphere. Please ignore the grass on the ground. However, there are a couple of empty corners, which are really noticeable. I do like this symmetrical bar in the center. It's interesting that there are two doors behind it, but I really like its placement. Again, though, those empty spots in the corner are just kind of sad. I feel like that real estate wasn't used as efficiently as possible. I do appreciate that window, though. It's very cozy. Strange thing, this bar also has 4 entrances and exits, so maybe the Korvax have a better idea of fire safety than the other races. But yeah, that was a quick tour. Shoot, it's already been 20 minutes. So that was Korvax Pool, medium-sized settlement. And oh, there's that beautiful service station and single-story building. So, now that we've seen all 3 styles of architecture, I have to say I think my favorite is still the Vy'keen. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore Gek lounges. I think they're the most inviting, but I just love the Tatooine sort of ancient fantasy feel of the Vy'keen settlements that I don't get from the other ones. The other styles feel a little bit too modern. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear it. And let me know if you'd love to see more types of buildings in settlements, or if you want to see more videos like this from my channel. I'm trying a few different things. I hope you checked out my last graphics comparison video. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.